Conditions this year in Ligier were pretty horrendous.
Finished article.
No, I think that looks.
I think it's
I thought it was going to be like properly
for so long.
bodged. And
It looks a lot less busy around the bottom bracket than I thought it did.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's absolutely insane, man. The main goal this off-season was obviously developing the new bike.
Just carries speed so well, which I thought it wasn't going to do. With it being heavier and a bit flatter, I thought, oh, it's going to be a slug.
That is quite a flat bit of track as well.
Yeah, so I was worried about that sort of thing. It actually feels like I'm carrying more speed than before.
Any professional athlete, you're always looking for the next best thing. So yeah, you've got to be fully committed, fully in it. Put pretty much everything else aside, and that was literally tunnel vision, main focus. I think with something like this, I think you have to be like that.
The 2025 World Cup downhill season sees 4 elite teams going head-to-head to be the first to win a downhill race with a Gates belt drive. The first to do so will claim the €100,000 prize purse.
But levers I never moved for my Charlie.
I'm Ben and I fix bikes. No, I'm Ben Lovell and I'm the head mechanic at Atherton and Racing. Belt bike. That progress started last year. Ludenville was when we started talking about it, having calls with Dave Weagle and the engineers, and really sort of going, I think this will be a cool path to take the bike on with.
You know, Charlie's in and out of HQ here, you know, a couple of times a week. Often he's riding at the bike park and he's testing, and he comes back for a chat afterwards. And then obviously we've got Dave Weagle, is very much a partner of our team as well, so he's integral to all that and he's involved. We catch up with him every week. So having that kind of really tight-knit team with all these different skills does mean that we develop things really fast.
By and large, I'm the system architect for most of those, and I think that's the best way to think about it. Most of especially the race bike products, have been ones that I've conceived and then proposed to my partners to build. Kind of goes with the Atherton gearbox bike. You know, that's something that really played off of the dual idler work that I'd done a couple of years prior. You know, G and Dan and Rach really drove us going to really get serious about using a gearbox. A pretty fun project, and I mean, it actually took a couple of major twists and turns, like as I kind of got into it, from the like first napkin sketches or whatever you want to call them to like the final product.
Pretty much the same to work on as the other bike. Like the hardware's all the same, the linkage is the same really. It just hasn't got a mech to fall off and tune, so it's really easy. Like once you've bolted the gearbox in, it's just leave it alone, it works. So as far as maintenance ways, it was pretty easy.
One of the ones I think that people get caught up on is they try to spin the wheel with the belt drive, you know, in the stand, and they're like, oh, it has so much drag. But the reality is chains, they have less drag when you're in the stand, when they're unloaded, right? Because they have all these mechanical elements that are tied together, and there's just not a lot of load in them when you're spinning up the wheel, right, in the stand. But then when you get on it, all those mechanical elements start to bind. The chain is like flexing, you know, like it's flexing laterally, and those plates are rubbing against each other. Pins are rubbing against the bushings and everything. And you have a bunch of drags, and the more load you put into it, the lower the efficiency, the higher the mechanical losses. Whereas a belt is the exact opposite. Its memory, its shape is trying to stay in its circular shape when it's in the stand, and you're kind of fighting that. But as soon as you tension it up, it starts to straighten out those load paths, and the belt starts to become slightly more efficient.
And it was like such a project that I was like so deeply involved in. Felt like coming in, we had a pretty solid platform for how long we had. To be honest, expectation pole and round one was pretty high. had a really good off season, had some good pre-season races, put like a good chunk of time into some other really fast riders. So to be honest, I was feeling very confident.
Track is sick, a lot drier than I expected, but it's evolving a lot. A lot of little sniper routes are coming out, so it's pretty tricky.
.12 off.
Went down. Didn't want to do that though.
Yeah. Talk me through it.
Devastated. Crashed in Q1, was probably, splits were looking like I might have got in, and then Q2 was riding well, then yeah, got to the section where I crashed in the qualifying one, and yeah, just hit the brakes. This is my, don't know what it is, misery cup of tea. I am the tea boy. Yeah, a bit of a disaster from start to finish. Practice, everything went wrong. Did go wrong.
I don't know, maybe reality check, I'm not sure. Yeah, welcome back to World Cup racing. It was brutal. Bang, punched me inside the head. I was down now.
Something's changed. It's so hard to put a finger on it because normally 1 or 2 guys will step the pace up. And this year, 40 guys have stepped the pace up. I don't know what was in the water this off-season, but everybody's went absolutely bananas this year. 1 second covering 10 guys at almost every round at some point is almost unheard of. And that's a pace that's, I think, shocked everybody this year. So it certainly shocked me.
Yeah, it probably did knock confidence a lot. And then it was almost like, right, we just need to get in the finals now.
Wow, Charlie Hatton.
To be fair, Ludenville was much better. Got through Q1, no problem. And then actually went off track in finals. So again, a rough race. So it was almost just like, right, you need to try and get some solid results here. Not trying to blow anything out of the water, just try and get some results on the board. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And if you're on that like backward spiral, it's really hard to turn it around and get it going again.
Trash-free trail.
Doing your bit.
Doing my part, yeah. Hopefully get a bit of good karma from that one. The bikes that are running the belt drive gearbox system, Cerakoted, Athertons, us, and Gamox, every bike just looks so dialed. It's such a pleasurable experience to be able to pilot a bike that's that quiet, that dialed, that glued to the floor. Yeah, you have to just witness it, you have to feel it, you have to see it to really grasp how much joy it brings to riding.
I mean, you can do as many laps as you like, but there's nothing like simulating that race run. And it's very hard to simulate. So you always do go that extra little bit faster, and that's the final percentages that are really hard to find. And that's the ones that make the biggest difference, really.
Could you tell me about some of the changes that you made on the bike and how it's developed?
I think the first thing we probably worked on was what we call the snubber on the back. We've made it so it bolts onto a UDH, which is really easy. We had like a flat plated one, and then it was kind of, I would say it's sort of like 7 o'clock how it sat on the rear gear. And then we made one that was more like 6 o'clock, and then we noticed it was wearing a bit, so we thought, oh, maybe if that's wearing, it's putting pressure on the belt, or it could be snagging something in pedaling. So we've then developed ones with rollers, with different thickness of rollers, so that we can have it touching the belt, or we can have it not touching the belt, kind of tune that in. Something so small and something you wouldn't even think about was actually made quite a bit of difference to the bike. We changed the gears on the bike, the teeth. So they have like a spline down the middle between each gear that the belt sits on, stops it from stepping side to side, kind of like how a teeth in a normal chain would work. But we had problems with like the sort of dirt build-ups underneath it sometimes, and it would lift. So with Gates, developed a gear that had sort of like cutouts so that debris could fall out of it much better. And with that, they also made aluminium ones rather than stainless steel, so we could cut some weight off the rear axle and had them Cerakoted. So small things like the coatings made massive difference. It's all sort of things we'd never really thought about.
People don't really know how good he actually is because obviously they don't see it. But I can tell when I follow him riding, I feel like he's a better rider than me. He pulls gaps out of nowhere, which I would never think about. Literally, go down on a track we've never seen before, he just pulls a fat double. Well, like, how does your mind actually see this? And flawless when he's riding well, like super flawless.
If you was to describe downhill to someone, I feel like that is the track that you'd show. The bike felt unreal. I feel like that track and yeah, that bike are almost like a perfect pair. Like the fast, rough bits that just feel absolutely insane.
Just did 2 practice runs this morning. Track's sick, bike's working well, so yeah, quality, let's go.
But yeah, managed to squeeze in Q1, which was nice, bit of a relief. In downhill, anything is possible, which I mean, I think found that out in 2023 World Champs. So there's always that in the back of your mind that, yeah, on the day, I mean, anyone can actually win the race, which is pretty gnarly.
Joe's team looked pretty stellar at the first half of the year, and they definitely had us shaking a little bit. The Athertons too, Charlie had some great rides this year, but none of the belt teams really showed what they were capable of, truly.
I think everybody wanted to win the 100k, right? It wasn't far away, but there's a difference. Even if it was a 10th away, it wasn't fast enough, it wasn't good enough in terms of our delivery to get that 100k, and the competition is so high.
This year, no team could claim the €100,000 prize purse. But the story isn't over, not even close. As the riders reflect on what could have been, the slate wipes clean. And in 2026, the chase begins again.
I've never had a bike that I've been able to go to a track and the first lap, everywhere I went, felt amazing, like so close to already like that race pace bike almost instantaneously. So that in itself took like a bit of getting used to. Normally it takes you a couple of laps, whereas I found myself, and especially this weekend at Mont Saint Anne, the first lap when you let the brakes off, how fast the bike is capable of going if you have the confidence to let it go. I think we can all do damage next year, but Aeon specifically, obviously I've got to back my own horses. There's, I think we're looking pretty good coming into next year.
Speaking to Ben, my mechanic, on the way over here, and yeah, there's quite a few ideas we've got. I feel like not really showed my potential or the bike's potential this year. I think there's a lot more in it.
Oh. Hi.
Hello.
Where have you been?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a long story.